right, so now that we have a good idea of equivalent fractions and finding equivalent fractions with common denominators, we're going to work on comparing fractions using benchmark fractions today. Later on in the week, or next week actually, we will be doing the butterfly method to compare fractions, because to me that's the easiest way to do it without having to have the fraction strips handy. But today I want you to practice using your fraction strips in order to find comparing fractions that are bigger or smaller. So our objective is to compare two fractions with different numerators and different denominators using common denominators or benchmark fractions. So we've already done that using common denominators. Now we're going to do that using benchmark fractions. Recognize that comparisons are valid only when the two fractions refer to the same whole. All right, so what is a benchmark? So as part of our vocabulary words, a benchmark is a known size or amount that helps you understand a different size or amount. 1/2 is a common benchmark fraction. Now you've heard benchmarks because we do benchmark testing, and we call them benchmark testing so that we can see where you're at any given point. Okay, so we take let's say you do the testing in the beginning of the year. We take that test and we compare it to the test that we give you at the end of the year, and we can see if you've grown. Okay, so it's a comparison. It's a way of comparing. A benchmark is a known size or amount. All right, so here's our first problem. David made a popcorn snack. He mixed 5/8 gallons of popcorn with 1/2 gallon of dried apple rings. Okay, oops, let's use a different color. So 5/8 and 1/2. Did he use more dried apple rings or popcorn? Okay, so one way to solve this is using fraction strips. You guys have that paper with the fraction strips on it. And this will tell us what is bigger than the other. Okay, so this is a half. Right here, it's already shaded in, so 1/2 and 5/8. I've already shaded in 5 of the squares for you. Now you can visually just look at it and see that 5/8 is bigger by this much. Okay, so then 5/8 is bigger than 1/2. So he used more popcorn. So the answer would be he used more popcorn. Okay, pretty easy? Easy peasy? All right, another way of doing that is to use number lines. So here's our problem. A family hiked the same mountain trail. Evie and her father hiked 5/12 of the trail before they stopped for lunch. Jill and her mother hiked 9/10 of the trail before they stopped for lunch. Who hiked farther? All right, so this is where it gets a little confusing. So here we have two number lines. Here's one number line. Here's the second number line. Okay, and I need to use a benchmark fraction of 1/2. So I'm going to look at this number line and I'm going to say 1/2 is about right here. Right? Okay, so that's about halfway between one mark to the other. So I have two fractions. I've got 12ths and I've got 10ths. Okay, so I'm going to separate this number line into 12. That means on the first one I'm going to have 6 before the half and 6 after the half. So let's see if we can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's roughly right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 1/2 or 6/12, right? Would be the same. All right, so this is 0. This is 1. So this would be 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, and so on down the line. Oops. Oh, Lord. Okay, so what do you think I'm going to do with the other line? All right, so if I broke the first line up into 12s. The second line is going to have to be broken up into 10s. Okay, so I have 0 here, 1 here, okay? And so I'm going to have 5 on each side of these, 5 sections. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Oh yeah, because we're doing 10. Sorry. 6/10. Whoa, let's start that all over again since Miss Friendly was stuck on fifths for some reason. So we have 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, which is the same as 1/2, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10. Okay, so it's asking me which one is further. Okay, so let's pretend that this number line is a hiking trail. And Evie and her mom traveled 5/12 of the trail. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They stopped here. Okay, and Jill and her mother traveled 9/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They stopped here. Okay, here is my half point. That's my benchmark point. Which one is further? Well, Jill traveled further. Jill and her mom traveled further. Okay, so you can visually kind of see how a number line would help you with that. It would also be helpful if you knew that 1/2 in 12s was actually 6/12, because then you can gauge it just using your head. But you can always draw number lines out if that's something that will help you. All right, so homework. This is where we're going to practice some. There's lots of homework problems, so we'll do quite a few. Let me split screen here because I got the fraction strips for you on here. Okay, so if you forgot to take your fraction strips home, or Miss Friendly forgot to tell you, because that's quite possible, you can look at it here. All right, so let's do number 3, 5, 10, and 15. Okay, we'll do a few of them. All right, I'm going to primarily use fraction strips because it's harder for me to do number lines, but by all means practice number lines if that works out better for you. All right, so I don't know why I always circle where I can't see. So 2/8 and 1/2. Okay, so I have 1/2 here and 2/8, which is right here. Which one's bigger? Well, if I trace this all the way down, I can see that 1/2 is bigger than 2/8. All right, 7/8 and 5/10. Okay, let's start with 7/8 because it's closest. So 7/8 is here, and 5/10 is here. So you can draw this down, and you'll see that 7/8 is bigger. 6/10 and 2/5. 6/10 and 2/5. So 2/5 is here. 6/10 is here, and it's always the line after the number. Okay? So if you follow this down, it is smaller than 6/10. So 6/10 is the bigger number. And lastly, we have 8/8 and 3/4. So 3/4 is right here. 8/8 is right here. Draw it down. 8/8 is bigger. Okay. This should be pretty easy for you with the fraction strip. And so that should be pretty easy for you. And you guys can finish up this worksheet. Shouldn't take you too long on this one. Your WSQ for this evening is, what do you know? Finish the practice book page. We'll see you in the morning.